Thank you for pressing the self-destruction button.
Oh, hey! Oh, hey! It's, it's like a koala bear crapped a rainbow in my brain!
Listen, here's $5. I've got to get to 1008 Park Avenue right away. It's an emergency. Look, I'm really in a hurry. Isn't there something you can do? $10 more. Look, I've got to be there before 5. Well, what's going on up there? We're getting someplace. Now, look, will you just get around him? Just get in this lane. Do it! I've got to be there by 5. Hey, mister, you're going to be 10 minutes late, so just keep your shirt on.
I think, a lot of us have family members that are going through a crisis or dealing with problems like this. So, it's art therapy in a way. It's a, cathartic kind of release for me.
Rack lays it up, no, but we do have a whistle and a foul. Ben just went after our 10. Trouble right here in the Motor City. We got big trouble here in the Motor City. Steven Jackson still screaming at the Pistons.
He came back now, but
short on the headsets. The Indiana broadcast.
And Ben Wallace just threw something at him. There goes Ben Wallace again.
There goes Artest up into the crowd. He's absolutely out of his mind. And Steven Jackson slugging people in the crowd here.
The whole Indiana team is in the crowd.
And now the Pistons are coming over.
And you want to be my latex salesman.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see somebody go past the window? What? Somebody just went past that window, downwards. Oh. Must be a board meeting. Oh, yeah.
He's faking it, Julie. He's faking it.
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
Get the hell out!
Nuggets on fire! Nuggets on fire!
Sir, I would like to complain about that last scene about people falling out of high buildings. I myself have worked all my life in such a building and have never once...
Jack, you know what? Hey, I really like that hate t-shirt. The whole angry young man, black thing, generation. You know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah, it's the name of a comic book. Can I borrow your pen 1 second?
Absolutely.
Happy now?
My artwork is popular because it connects with the ordinary person, and they can understand it very easily. And I always meant it to be so. I've never confined my art to a particular section of humanity. I love people in general. My art reflects it, and that's the way it's always been.
Hello, and welcome to Taylor Talks Comics Live. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulties with the intro there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Put that together over the weekend. That's what I plan on doing to fill in that 5-minute gap between noon and 12:05. I'm a little late today, but I'll figure that out. Just to give people a time to roll in before the show actually begins. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the clips there. How's everybody doing? Everybody ready to talk comics today? Got the chat blowing up, which I appreciate so much. And I've got a pretty good size haul here with a couple of real bangers here, a couple of whales that I harpooned recently. So you don't want to miss out on that. But yes, everyone, please give the video a thumbs up, comment down below if you haven't already, and subscribe. I am close to my goal. My goal of the year is 5,000 subscribers. I'm very close. I'm less than 200 subscribers away from meeting that goal, and I need you guys' help. So if you're watching this and you're already subscribed, share it on your social media. Let your friends know. Anybody that you talk comics with. We're at the comic shop today on New Comic Book Day. Tell the people at the shop, hey, go watch Taylor Talks Comics Live. When you, after your books, you pick up your comics on the Wednesday, go home, have some coffee, watch Taylor Talks Comics Live. What are you guys talking about over here? Harvey Picar's Ghost blowing up. New Nate Garcia, Jasper Jubinville. Comics in December. New Josh Pettinger. Comic out right now. New Alex Graham. Comics every month online. Vit Moretta getting English translation soon. Indie Comics news is so hot right now. I didn't hear about Nate Garcia. Two of those I don't know about. Nate Garcia, I didn't know his new comic was coming out. Where do I find that out? Was it on his Instagram? And then Vit Moretta, I'm not familiar with. I need info on that one too, Harvey. There's James Abel, the producer to the stars. Bat Cato, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you as well. Taylor's Man on the Street, Harvey giving us the scoops. That's right. I should go. Let's go now live to the streets with Harvey Picar's Ghost, telling us what's hot in alternative comics today. The biggest upset in Raw history. Yes, I watched that live as a child. I was the biggest 1-2-3 Kid fan after that, and I will never forget the moment when I was a kid watching. Because every week on wrestling, you see the big stars: Razor Ramon, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels at the time, always beating the jobbers. These jobber guys would just come in, just you barely know their name, they lose. Just quick little chance for Razor Ramon to show off his cool moves and things. But that one, the jobber won. Huge moment. I absolutely love that one. That's what this intro was just like moments that I'll never forget that impacted me in some sort of way, and just kind of fun too. Biggest upset in basketball history. I think you're referring to the Charles Barkley Godzilla. I do have that comic book crossover from Dark Horse Comics, by the way. The Hulk, yes. Lou Ferrigno's Hulk used to give me nightmares as a child, but I couldn't stop watching it. Toxic Avenger is one of my all-time favorite movies. Absolutely love that movie. It never ceases to put a smile on my face when I watch it. That was great. Thank you, Chris. Missed the intro. Start over. Maybe I'll close the show with the intro, just so you guys can check it out again. Hey, Taylor. Hello, Badger Stump. What was the Ben Affleck wearing hate shirt from? That's from, I think it's called Glory Days. What's the movie? It's like one of those 90s movies like Clerks and like those kind of movies at that era of like angry, Glory Days. But Days is spelled D-A-Z-E. It's from 1995. Good stuff, though. And, of course, he's talking about hate, so I had to put that in there. Hi, I'm new here. Oh, well, hello. Is it... Looks like Ilona Stoffels? Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Thank you for joining me. Glad to have you here. Hi, Taylor just got home just in time. Thank you, Dana. I like to think Harvey is like a 30s reporter, the press in the hat chewing on a toothpick. Yeah, he's got to have like the cool, like He's like the Jimmy Olsen of the alt comics world. If you go live with Harvey Picar's ghost, you would probably see him walking his dog or bicycling. I feel like he would always be live reporting from Harvey Picar's grave, would be like his location that he's always reporting from. Also, I need to stop hanging out with you all. Got me buying books. Well, what's wrong with that? Have you read M.S. Harkness's OGN from Fanta that touches on her time with Razor Ramon? No? Like she knew Scott Hall, Razor Ramon? I have no idea. I didn't. I've read M.S. Harkness's. It wasn't with Fanta though. It was with. It was like Silver Sprocket or something. She had an OGN before that with a different company that I had read, but I haven't read the one from Fanta. Razor Ramon's in it though. I might have to watch that. James Abel, live from the cemetery. Here's Harvey Picar's ghost. Perfect. Oh, okay. So I said your name correctly. Sign me up for 24/7 stream. Love Toxie. Hello, Jordan. I got to watch it in theater with Lloyd Kaufman himself a couple years ago. Wow, that would be a treat. It's one of those movies that I have such fond memories of it because my friends and I would always watch, try to find the scummiest B, C, D level movies and watch them and have a laugh. And that one was always one that caught my eye. I always saw the poster for it, but I never watched it. And then it happened to be on video on demand. Is that even a thing anymore? Back when we had cable. And so I flipped it on and was like, let's just watch this movie. Non-stop laughs. We were not ready for that movie. I figured it was just gonna be a crappy superhero movie, but it was hilarious. And then I've since become a massive fan of Troma and Troma Studios. Great company. Lloyd Kaufman's amazing. It's hilarious. He's like a Harvard grad, but he is known for making these violent, gory, raunchy, horrible B movies, low budget movies, but they're all fun. She knew Scott Hall in every sense of the word. Oh, interesting. Huh. That's super interesting. Wow. But Harvey, where did Nate Garcia post about his comic? Was it on his Instagram? Where's the news at so I can share it with the world? But yes, Jasper Jubenville has the next installment of Dynamite Diva coming out. I think I have. I have the first one. I can't find it though. Oh, there it is. It's behind Pee Wee Herman's head. Oh my gosh, you're falling down. Yeah, Jasper Jubenville came on the scene a few years ago with this banger. He was doing comics before this, but this is the first collected edition he did. It's a very thick, substantial comic. And Jasper, I think he's in his early 20s still, maybe mid 20s at this point. But this was this hit the alt comic scene in a big way, and took the world by storm. It was published by Strangers Publishing, and Jasper's got this I don't know. His comics are just absolutely amazing. He's very much inspired by Dick Tracy, Chester Gould's Dick Tracy. So you see a lot of the great character designs in here, similar to Chester Gould's Dick Tracy, but done for a modern, I guess, Gen Z type audience, possibly. And his main character is this Dynamite Diva lady that kicks ass and takes names. But this was an amazing book. And I know Harvey hit me up about some of the stuff that came out before his new one. I'm going to order his new one, but I think I need to hit you up because he might have some of the stuff I'm missing in between. But Jasper's an amazing cartoonist. Everyone should check out his stuff for sure. I remember when that was the rave. Did you pick it up, Josh? There are a lot of holes on that shelf. I've been moving things around. If you could see my desk right now, it's embarrassing. I've been moving books around, selling some books, trying to resort some books because I have too many. It's insanity over here at the TTC headquarters. But So that's why there's holes in the shelf. They'll be filled. Don't worry. I have too many books to fill the shelves with. But yeah, so Jasper Jubenville has a new comic coming out soon. Let me see if I can find the info on that so I can show it to you guys. These are the cartoonists we need to be supporting and showing off because they're the young guns in the industry, and they're going to be coming up, put out the good stuff. Jasper.Jubenville is on Instagram. And is this the new one? Yeah, December 18th for only $8. All right, let me share my screen here. Share screen. Instagram. And there we go. Oh, no, that's not the one I wanted. It always gives me this crappy view. This is the better one, StreamYard. All right, so that's the new one coming out. It's the newest, raunchiest, most unhinged diva comic. Is coming out December 18th for only $8 USD. 32 full color pages of pure horror, lust, and love. Said he had to bump it up $2 to offset some of the wild prices to produce comics. I assure you the jam-packed 32 pages are worth it. Let me go to his store here. Jasper Jubenville, BigCartel.com. Yeah, here's the recent one that I don't have. It's Dynamite Dave number 4, The Engine Whispers. So I think the thick trade I have here is considered issues 1 and 2. Oh, 3 issues. Okay, so the thick hardcover I have is 3 issues, and then The Engine Whispers is number 4, and that is 112 pages. Eye-popping color on the cover. Look at that artwork, though. Jasper's awesome. Like his work is so good. I probably need to do a video on the old Dynamite Diva to show her off in a true form, to pound the table for more Jasper work. And all right. Well, want to tell someone indie? Big Cartel. Oh, if you want to tell if someone is indie, they sell their stuff on Big Cartel? Absolutely. So where did I put? Oh, apologies. So this week so far, I've done a couple videos, much to the surprise of Josh Greathouse and team, who were not expecting. Oh, Josh uses it too. Big Cartel. We're not expecting any videos till April. I showed off The Jump by Wesley Griffith. Everybody needs to pick up The Jump. Check out my video on this. This comic blew me away. It's such great stuff. Again, we need to be supporting these cartoonists because they're putting out the good stuff in the industry. And yesterday I showed off this book. Everyone go watch this video. It's not doing so well in the views. Share it with your friends. But the coolest thing that happened was that Chip Kidd commented on my Instagram post about this and said that he said, no lie. So I'm paraphrasing here. No lie, but whenever I'm feeling down and depressed, I pull this off my shelf and flip through it. And it's so amazing that Chip Kidd, the guy that designed this book and put this book together, one of my favorite book designers ever, shares that exact sentiment, because I do the same thing. This is such a pull the book off the shelf and flip through it kind of book. But I did a video on this one yesterday and might have inspired something in my haul. Hint, hint. Also, something I want to add to the live show. My book's falling all over the place. Is talk about what I've been reading lately, and I picked this up. I showed this off last week, I think, or maybe the week before. I can't remember. Whenever I hauled this, and this is Curses by George Wildsall. See his name right there. And I talked about how I had never heard of George Wildsall before this. I've been reading this, and it's blowing me away. Like, I need to pick up all. I've already checked out what are the books he's come out with, and I need to pick them all up because his stuff is incredible. It's like done with like computers and like this. Normally, like I don't like typed font, but George Wildsall uses it really, really well, and so does like Olivier Schwaun. Olivier Schwaun does that really well too, to where it's not like off-putting. But there's a lot of like risograph mini comics and stuff that are collected in here. It's a really cool book. I think it's put up by Avery Hill. Yeah, Avery Hill. So that's what I've been reading this week. Let me know. There we go. Can you hear me now? Audio went out. Yes, sorry. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up or something. I don't know what happened. I think I might have bumped the mute button. Everyone should be buying any comics that feature these names. We are bullish on Manga Chat alumni. Yes, Harvey, I've been like binge watching Manga Chat lately over the weekend. I think it's so, the thing I love, Manga Chat, by the way, if you don't know, is Josh Pettinger and Simon Hanselman, who you saw in the intro if you watched it. They don't do a week. I don't know. They're very inconsistent with how often they do videos, but they do like live shows, and often you'll see like Nate Garcia on there, Nathan Cowdery, some other guys, and girls. They have Alex Graham on there. Jack Cohen did an episode a long time ago. Jack Cohen is such like an inspiration for me because I'd love to work in publishing of comics, and she has such a history working with Dark Horse and Fantagraphics, and now she's working with Abrams Comic Arts, and she's married to Simon Hanselman. But she did an interview with them, and it's so enlightening to see like that kind of side of publishing in comics. But Manga Chat is a tremendous show. The thing I love about it the most, though, is that Simon and Josh show off the comics that they're reading and buying all the time. That's something that I don't see enough from cartoonists. Like, it almost seems like cartoonists are kind of like afraid to talk about the comics they're reading because they don't want to seem like uncool or something. Like I want to know the contemporary comics that you're picking up on a weekly basis. That's like one of my favorite questions whenever I interview someone or talk to a cartoonist. It's like, what are you reading right now? Because I obviously love your comics and the taste in comics. I want to know what you're reading. I bought the Shazam book after watching your video. Thank you, Dana. That's awesome. Heard you say you want to buy us all books. That's not what I said. Let's show off some haul stuff, though. I'm going to try to... I think I'm going to save the bangers for last. How about that? Okay. So I went to my shop today, picked up a few issues of Chip Zdarsky's Z Comic News zine. I think I showed off one of these on a haul I did last week or so, and I really like the stuff in here. Chip Zdarsky is a pretty funny guy. And again, inspiration because I'm working on a zine. Yes, Josh, I'm working on it actively. I got this. This is Johnny Nemo by Brett Ewins and Peter Milligan. Peter Milligan's one of my favorite writers in comics. This is like such fun stuff. So this is like, I'm a big fan of Peter Milligan and Brendan McCarthy's Paradox and what is it? Paradox and Freakwave? It's not on here. I think it's Paradox and Freakwave. And this is kind of the same ilk, but with Brett Ewins artwork. And Brett Ewins doesn't have a lot of comic artwork out there, but what he does have is awesome. And I love this like color work in here too. So this was published in Deadline magazine back in the day. I'm a big fan of Deadline with Jamie Hewlett and Shaky Kane and Brett Ewins. Like some really cool artists came through Deadline magazine. It's kind of like the alternative comics version of 2000 AD. Is how I view Deadline's history. And they had a Kickstarter that just ended recently, and I backed that, so I'm excited to get that in. But these are comics I've never read before. I'm a big fan of Peter Milligan. Brett Ewins is awesome, so I wanted to check this out. Here's the back cover. And I was getting some discrepancy on what the full complete collection of Johnny Nemo was, because they put out a few collections, and the one I ordered actually had a different cover to this, but I got this in. I think this is still the complete thing, but someone let me know if you know the answer. Shout out to Jocko Ramone. Jocko Ramone? Is that no, not Jocko Ramone. What's his name? Rocco Jerome. I mixed up his name. Rocco Jerome of Ghost Agents fame. If you're not familiar, let me show this off. Hold on. Yeah, Rocco Jerome. Okay. So Rocco had posted about El Borba on the old cartoonist kayfabe group, and I commented like, "Oh, that's one of the few Burns books I'm still missing." And he hit me up, said he had 2 copies, and I said, "Yes, I'm very much interested in it." This is a paperback version, but I guess this is a second printing, and he said that this has extra back matter in it, which I think it is the case because there's some extra like covers and things, and a little bit of him talking about his comics and whatnot. But I didn't have El Borba. The one I'm missing now is Skin something or other. I'm forgetting what it is, but excited to dive into some Burns that I've never read before. And El Borba, if you don't know, is like this Andre the Giant / luchador looking character. He's got the mask there and the Andre the Giant singlet. But then Rocco Jerome was nice enough to send me out the Ghost Agents that I'm missing. I showed off this earlier, like a few months ago. Let me see if I can pull it out without knocking over a whole stack of books. This was the Ghost Agents I picked up. I picked this up in Louisville when I went this past summer. Skin deep. Thank you, Jordan. And this was really cool because it's got Ken Landgraf artwork all throughout it. And Ken Landgraf's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Ken Landgraf. He did New York City Outlaws, which there's a big collection of that got put out by Floating World that I'm a huge fan of. So I have this, and then I backed a few years ago. I backed the first Kickstarter for Ghost Agents, but I was missing the in between stuff. So I had the original stuff, and then I had the Ken Landgraf, and then Rocco was nice enough to send me out these copies that he had. These are pretty thick copies too. So these are put out now by Cosmic Lion Productions, and they're different trim sizes. You can see like one's taller than the other one, and one of them's on like newsprint. But anyways, Ghost Agents is a really killer series. Rocco does all the writing for it, but all the artwork is done by like a whole litany of different cartoonists. Most of them coming out like he connected with the cartoonist kayfabe group. But so like you get all kinds of crazy artwork throughout here. Here's one by Anton Blake doing this piece. But it's like a pop art inspired, kind of like Jim Steranko era, Nick Fury inspired series with these spies and double agents and all those, all the crazy hijinks that go along with that world. But done in a really cool way. There's like a 3D issue in here. Who's the artwork? Oh, Barry Tan. Barry Tan's artwork is really, really great on here too. And Rocco Jerome has a really good eye for talent, and you can tell by how good the artwork is throughout here. Here's a color version of that 3D issue. It's really, really cool stuff. But you can go on CosmicLionProductions.com and check out this work. Who's this artist? Yeah, I see some like Paul Galassi inspired like Master of Kung Fu artwork in here as well. So it's like Steranko, Paul Galassi inspired stories and art, but done with like a modern sensibility. Chris Anderson is one of the artists in here as well. So really, really cool stuff. I highly recommend that. I'm going to do a video on Ghost Agents whenever I am able to read through these and show them off on my channel. Dun, 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 dun. I agree. So many mainstream comics writers and artists cop out with I don't really have time to read comics, and it frankly disgusts me. I agree. Yes, because it's almost like they're afraid to like upset their friends too if they don't mention their one friend's comic, but they mention another. I don't know what it is. It's such a weird thing to me, though. I don't know why. It seems like 90% of the cartoonists or writers or comic makers that I see in interviews have that kind of answer that you mentioned. Like, I don't really have time to read comics, or Yeah, you know, I've been reading like Absolute Batman. That's good stuff. Like what, like this have like these really like generic answers. So it's refreshing on Manga Chat to see like almost the whole episodes are just filled with Simon Hanselman and Josh Pettinger like waxing poetic about the alternative comics scene and the new up and coming cartoonists that they're really digging. So Rocco Jerome didn't stop there with the awesomeness. When I got that package and I messaged him and said, "Hey, I got the books in. Thank you so much." And then he said, "Hey, do you have this book? Do you have a copy of this book?" And I said, "No." And it's like, "Would you like one for? I'll just charge you however much I paid for it." And I said, "Absolutely." I never even thought I'd own this book because it's so like out of my range of like possibility. And I think he charged me like cover price for it. But Phasetasm, the Gary Panter Charles Burns book. And this is a weird edition. This is like a foreign, I think it's like French edition. But that doesn't matter because there's no words in it. So it doesn't matter if it's published by the French. But I've never seen this edition before, the silvery cover. It's kind of cool. This is put out by Fantagraphics, I think, way back in the day. But this is Gary Panter and Charles Burns Jam comic, or Jam art book, I guess it would be more. And it's like those classic kids books where you can like move the faces. Like one, it's like trifold or whatever. And every other face is by Gary Panter or Charles Burns. And you just go through the whole book and just mix up these faces like this. Did everybody have these books when they were kids? Such a cool idea. I think Skinner did one. I think was Panter on that one as well. I think they just released one of those with Fantagraphics recently. But this was another Charles Burns book I didn't own, and I love Gary Panter as well. Gary Panter's awesome. Huge. I think this might be my favorite one in here. Huge Pee-wee's Playhouse fan as a kid. Not even knowing that Gary Panter was part of that project until much later in my adult life. And this robot, which I think is by, this is Gary Panter. This robot's probably my favorite one in here. Let's see if I can show that off here. Cool stuff though. Phasetasm. Jordan has 4 of them, is my guess. I don't know. Jordan, do you have 4 of those? So, reason why I went to my shop this week, Tom Scioli's Twilight Zone issue came out. See if I can get that on the camera better. Huge fan of Twilight Zone, and you guys know if you watch my show, huge fan of Tom Scioli. Anything Tom Scioli does, I pick up. Cannot wait to just read through this. This is issue number 2 of this new Twilight Zone series by IDW Dark, which is like their, I guess, Vertigo type imprint. It's got a it's not a wraparound cover. It's like the same image but done in a little bit darker. I have no idea what the story's about yet. I haven't read through it, but it does have classic Tom Scioli artwork, but he did it in like the black, white, and grays to match the TV show. I didn't read issue number 1. Has anybody read issue number 1 of Twilight Zone? I forget who did it. It had a different writer. I think Dan Waters was the writer on it, maybe. But I decided that I'm going to pick up whatever issue has cool artwork in it that I really dig. Issue number 3 has James Stocco. So James Stocco is going to be on issue number 3, which I'm stoked for too. I'm glad that like it seems like the anthology comic is coming back into style, and I really appreciate that. I think it's a good thing for comics, and I think Twilight Zone's a perfect vehicle for that. Just a cool idea that like IDW can go and like reach out to the different cartoonists and say, "Hey, you want to do an issue of Twilight Zone for us?" And there's so many cool ones that they can reach out to. Like, hey, hit up Jasper Jubenville and see if he likes Twilight Zone. I don't know. And then I picked this up too. I don't think this is the same one I have already. I have to look. I think I had issue number 2. Yeah, I had issue number 2. This is 3 of American Nature. This is the zine that the guys that do Santos Sisters puts out. And it's a mixture of, it's on like cheap newsprint, which is always great. It's put out, it's got a mixture of comics and articles in here. Is it Matt Frizzell? Yeah, there's a Matt Frizzell interview in here. But this is definitely an inspiration for me for my zine as far as like what I want it to include in things. There's a Buddy Bradley. It's got a mixture of reviews, interviews, comics. Just a cool piece. And put out, I think Floating World's the publisher on this. 56 pages of interviews and comics and cool stuff. American Nature. A few more things. Let me hit you up, guys, or see what you guys are talking about, though. Ba-da. Nice. Skin Deep is the name of the Burns book I'm still missing. Phasetasm is great. It really is. It's a fun book that, again, another book you pull off the shelf just to flip through. Jordan has 4 of those. Those are Exquisite Corpse. The story? Oh, it's a method by which a collection of words and images is assembled. Oh, okay. So it's like a style of, okay, I got you. Because that's the name of a comic book right now, right? Exquisite Corpse. Phasetasm. Wow. Haven't played that in forever. I read Twilight Zone #2 today. It's good, but very indie and have major Godzilla vibes. Oh, all right. I'm okay with, like, I don't know what you mean by indie, if that's like a demonstrative word you're using, but I love Tom Shilley. I don't think I've read a single Tom Shilley comic where I was like, nah, afterwards. Like, they've all been like, I got up and it's like, yes, I love comics. Comics are so good. They're so much fun. I'm going to snag that later today. The Twilight Zone. Dan Waters was #1. Who was the artist on #1, though? It was very good. Okay. I don't know if I'll pick up the collected editions. I kind of like these being like single units because they're all different stories, like a Twilight Zone episode. And I don't mind not having every single issue. I think I just want to. I hope it's like an ongoing series for years, and I can just go and pick up whatever artist or writer that I'm into. Or if a story gets hyped up a lot. Dan Waters, I need to give him another chance because I've only read one comic from him, and it didn't impress me at all. It was the Incal book that he did, the spinoff for the continuation. I forget which one he did was called, but it was just kind of like I don't know. So I need to give him another chance because I know he's written a lot of other things that people have hyped up. Exquisite Corpse is a method by which a collection of words or images is assembled. It was an art game artists would play. One would draw the head, the body, and the legs, and you would get the connecting points. Okay. So it's like a jam style art piece. That's fun. Sadly, I do not have 4. You should. I've since looked up that there's like, I think there's like 4 different printings of that book that all look different. I never seen, like I said, I've never seen this one before. It's by Cambor. I don't know if you can see that with the shininess. That's the name of the publisher, though. That down at the bottom underneath Gary Panther there. Camborakis. Yeah, I'm not sure how Rocco, but he had 2. It said that's like France. Yeah. But he had 2 copies, and he's like, hey, do you need one of these still? So cool. I got My Gorilla Family. Let me get that off there real fast. I got My Gorilla Family, the latest in the smudge manga imprint from Living the Line. Living the Line sent me this and the next book I'm going to show off for review. I love the smudge imprint. I'm going to bang the table on this, like, for this manga imprint as long as I can. This one looks wild too. I read the first story. I've been flipping through it. Let me just show you this. Like, look at that. Like, this is like classic, like 70s, 80s era mangas, what they do. And I was on a stream on New York Edition. We did like our, what is it called? Our evergreen horror comics picks or whatever. And Tony Fleece was on there. Tony Fleece that did like Stray Dogs and Feral, I think it's this newer series. And he had the perfect description of this. This is like the Vinegar Syndrome. If you're familiar with Vinegar Syndrome, the movie company that produces DVDs or whatever of these classic like B and C horror movies. That's kind of like what Smudge feels like, because it's these classic horror mangas that are all one and done so far, and which I love one and done manga. And Ryan Holmberg is the curator of this, and he does all the translation. And so far, every single volume has been amazing. Like I do have all of them, Josh. Yes. So I have all of them now. And I'm not kidding, guys. Like every single time I read one, I'm like, that's the best one of the line so far. That's the best one. I don't think this one will be any different because I read the first story, like I said, and just flipping through it is amazing stuff. But it's by Lijima Ichiro, I think is how you pronounce. I know Ichiro is how you pronounce the last name, but it looks like an L, Lijima. But yeah, and this is like an anthology. It has like each chapter is a completely different story, and they're all done by the same artist. They always have like back matter here too by Ryan Holmberg, where he shows off covers and other stories that the same artist did. Oh, I didn't even notice this. He gave me a sticker. Look at that. I do have a smudge sticker on the back of my laptop, which I can't show you because it's what I'm using to film this right now. But I love smudge. Smudge is great. I got my Gorilla family in the latest Desert Island mystery box. Ooh, I want to I love the idea of the Desert Island mystery box every month. Like it's such a thing that I would dig, but I don't know. I like I said about blind bags. I'm going to blind bag rants. I just have like this trust thing. Like, am I going to like it? But I know I would because Desert Island's one of my favorite comic shops I ever went to. I went there once when we went out to Brooklyn. I haven't been to the new location yet. I'm hoping to go there one day. But so I know I'll like whatever he puts in the box, but also like, what if it's something I already bought? I don't know. Then I guess I could gift it to somebody, do a little good, community gifting of comics to one of my friends. Morgan Beam was the artist at number 1. I'm not familiar with Morgan Beam's work, but I might have to check that out. One Piece is one and done, by the way. One and done. Yeah, it's not. It's 100 and we don't even know how many it's going to be 125 and done. I've been noticing more lately that people use indie as a descriptor for art they feel is not as slick and professional as the mainstream comics have. Yeah, that's what I don't want to accuse James of using it in that regard, but I have heard Omar use it not in that regard, not as an insult. Omar over at Nirmak Edition, which I guess I'm calling him out right now. No, but Omar's good people. I love that guy, but he'll use that. But I think what he means is like, yeah, not as professional, not as slick, like, and I think it's just based on the way that Omar grew up in the period of like Ninja Turtles being like indie and like all those, so like it has a certain connotation to him with the style of art, I guess. But I don't know. I agree though. I don't know that it's the best descriptor. FOMO Taylor, Desert Island web shop mystery mail monthly subscription. I think we should use indie that way. Oh, are you trying to make fun of Indiana? By the way, I'm wearing my Pacers hoodie today. They are a embarrassing 1-12 right now, or 1-13. I think they're 1-13. I can't remember. It's awful. I've watched every single game except for one this season, and it's the one game they won, which is even more embarrassing. Maybe it's my fault that they have not won a game since I've been watching them. But we are going to the game tonight. They're playing the Charlotte Hornets. Hopefully they stand a chance to beat them. Let me see. 1-13, and the Charlotte Hornets are 4-10. So we got a shot. We got a shot to win, possibly. I don't know. It's been a bad season, though. Halliburton got hurt. We lost the NBA Finals in the most awful way that any sports team has ever lost a championship game. I don't care who you want to cite as that. They're definitely number 1 in that regard. It was devastating. And now all their whole team's hurt. Anyways, let's talk comics. I mean, the Pacers are very indie. Right now, they're not doing so good, if that's what you mean. This is the other book that I was sent out, Living the Line sent out to me, called Harpy. And this is going to be, you're going to hear a lot of hype on this book if they put it in the right hands of the right people. I think this was like, I don't know. I was confused by the publishing of this. I think I read somewhere that it was like Uncivilized Publishing was the publisher at first, but then Living the Line might have picked it up. I know there's something to do with distribution there too, where Diamond kind of messed up Living the Line's publishing too, and Uncivilized Books. So I think they both joined together in some regard. I don't know, but all I can tell you now is that Harpy, which is this thick trade paperback, is out right now by Living the Line, and it's done by EPHK is the writer and artist on this. This is the first time I've read anything by them, and I'm an instant fan. Like, this is so my vibe of comics. Like, this stuff looks amazing. I can't wait to show this off on my channel. Like, it's just action-packed, sci-fi, cyberpunk kind of stuff. Absolutely love this stuff. Kind of reminds me of, like, I guess some like Akira vibes, some Brandon Graham vibes, some maybe a little bit of James Stokoe in there. But yeah, this stuff's awesome. Oh, geez. Didn't mean to bump my mic there. Awesome, awesome stuff. So, going to do a video on this one very, very soon because I've been digging that book a lot. Dun, 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 dun. I was also thinking of Omar as the most recent instance. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's just how people say things, I guess. It's just like their usual deal, their usual vernacular of things. It's the same thing that, like, when it irks me that someone spells indie in INDY when they're talking about independent, which being from Indiana, I was like, no, that's from Indiana. INDIE is short for independent. But I try not to rag on people too much about it because it's like, I don't know, pick your battles, like whatever. I don't really care what people call things as long as I understand what the heck they're talking about. We've talked about that before with people using the word indie for comics from Dark Horse or Image or whatever. Every time a phrase comes out or a word or a nomenclature, it always eventually gets like disintegrated into meaning something it didn't mean to begin with, I guess. So I don't try not to care too much. Quote Simpson's Queen of the Harpy. I think the Warriors lost championship in the most devastating way in history, actually. No, Harvey, listen. I think you're talking about the Warriors against the Cavs when the Cavs came back from down 3-1. Like, okay. Like, yes, they didn't have Draymond for one game. Okay. But let me put it this way to you, okay? The Indiana Pacers have never won a championship ever in their history. Not since the ABA days. Okay, so they already got one up on the Warriors in devastating fashion in that regard because the Warriors have won a number of them. Then the Pacers go into the first round. No one picks them to win that round. They beat them. They go to the second round. No one picks them to beat Cleveland. They beat Cleveland. They beat the Bucks in the first round. Then they go to the Eastern Conference Finals against their fierce rival, the New York Knicks. Everyone says they're going to get swept by the Knicks. No chance. They don't stand a chance. They beat them. Then they go to the NBA Finals. Everyone's like, okay, they may have made it out of those three rounds where we thought they're going to get swept in every single round, but they're not going to beat OKC. OKC's dominated everyone in the entire NBA this entire season. They take them to 7 games. They win the first game on a buzzer beater. Halliburton hit a buzzer beater to win a game in each round of the NBA Finals. They go to Game 7 against OKC. Halliburton's got a calf strain, but he's going to fight through it and try to win for his team anyways in Game 7. The last game is all the chips are in the center of the table. And Halliburton starts off the game hitting a 3, hitting another 3, hitting another 3. He's on fire in this game. And I can tell you I've watched every Tyrese Halliburton game he's ever played with the Pacers. And there are 2 different Halliburtons. I'm just going to go on this rant. I'm going to finish it off. Stay with me. Halliburton, he does have games where he's cold, certainly. But when he starts off the game hot, he is hot throughout it. He's never had a game where he started off hot and then went cold. If he starts off hot, he stays hot. So we knew Halliburton was going to win this game for us. We knew. Halftime. So then first quarter, Halliburton tears his Achilles. Devastating fashion. After he starts off hot, tears his Achilles. And even then, at halftime, the Pacers are winning. And even then, the Pacers are in the game deep into the fourth quarter, even without Halliburton. If Halliburton plays that entire Game 7, they win that series. They win the championship. No one can convince me otherwise. That was the most devastating loss in a championship game of any sport in the history of the entire league. Bar none. So get out of here with the Warriors nonsense. The Warriors privileged nonsense where they've won 5 or 6 championships or however many they've won. Also, there's a rawness and style I enjoy from indie creators. There's energy hard to match. I agree. And that's one thing I love, and it's endearing especially from a young cartoonist like a Jasper Jubinville. Like, you don't get this kind of like raw energy and artwork from a cartoonist that's been in the biz for 25 hardened years, where they don't even read comics anymore, because when people interview them and ask them if they read comics, they're like, I don't read comics anymore. I don't have time for that garbage. But I just keep pumping these comics out because they pay the bills. Like, you don't get kind of that love and raw energy of a cartoonist striving to make a buck off their artwork like you get from alternative comics or independent comics, self-published comics. Same thing with a Wesley Griffith with his artwork. This has raw energy to it, and it's storytelling, amazing stuff. I agree. That raw energy is what I look for. And I still like that in cartoonists that have made it, like a Jim Mahfood, for instance. He's doing well for himself, but I still love the raw energy he puts into his Girl Scouts comics. Very indie of you. I just start saying indie instead of bad in my regular life. Thank you for joining us. Flim Talk. I thought it was a film talk at first. People will be very confused. Maybe it'd be an inside joke on the show. When we say indie, we mean bad, not as good. Basketball talk. Comics greater than sports. That's all, folks. No, comics are still the thing that is the most reliable entertainment in my life. Comics will never do me wrong. Sports will break my heart. Movies will disappoint me. TV shows will disappoint me, but comics will always be there. It is the best form of entertainment in the world. Haha. And then, is that a poop emoji? Why does it look purple on my screen? Is that purple poop? I'm colorblind, though, so what do I know? Taylor is a jock. Not very indie of him. Very indie of him. Hey, Indiana is the home and mecca of basketball. All right? Everybody see Hoosiers? So, growing up and living in Indiana my whole life, you gotta love basketball. Oh, Tay-Man is an emo kid, not a jock. Low Hit knows me so well. I was not a jock in school, actually. I didn't make the basketball team, much to my dismay. I was a drama kid. I was an emo kid. But I still love watching sports. Love watching football. Basketball. MMA, even. I don't watch too much MMA anymore, though. I grew up with emo kids. That's a jock. What? No, emo kids were not jocks. Come on, Josh. You got that wrong. Show me your Shioli book now. I already did. You missed the stream, buddy. But Twilight Zone and Low Hit, I know you're going to pick it up today, but it's like done in like black and white, just like the classic TV show. Got classic Tom Shioli throughout here. Oh, there's a preview. Okay. Here's a cover preview of James Stokoe's next issue. I didn't see this. Definitely picking up the James Stokoe issue. Stokoe is on that short list of artists I'll buy anything from. Oh, there's variant covers. One by Francisco Francavilla. Jim Rugg. Ooh, Jim Rugg should do an issue. Here's a Jim Rugg variant cover. I almost picked up the Deadpool Batman crossover issue, because right when I walked in, I saw the Bill Sienkiewicz cover staring me in the face. And I was like, oh, I love Sienkiewicz. That cover's kind of cool. Dan Mora, Grant Morrison, do I do it? And then I saw the price tag was $8.99. And I know it's like chock full. Like, it's not just the Batman Deadpool series. Like, there's like a bunch of crossovers, there's backup strips in there. And I was flipping through it to see if there's any like artists that I really dig. Like if Tom Shioli did a backup or James Stokoe did a backup, I would have been all over it. But there wasn't anybody in there that I was like, oh, I have to pick this up. What about comics about sports? There's not enough of those, Elon. Thank you for joining me, by the way. That's one thing that I'm jealous of with manga, is that like manga has like just rich with like sports manga. Like they have whole section. This is what I've been told. They have whole sections of like their manga of their shops in Japan, where they have like a whole section of baseball manga and then a whole section of basketball manga, and et cetera, et cetera. Not a lot has been translated to English, unfortunately, but I would love to read more. I think the only sports manga I've read is Ping Pong. I'm trying to think. And then as far as like sports comics and Western comics, I've read Dragon Hoops. My son loves that story, by the way. My son's a basketball player. He's on a travel basketball team. Won his first game this past weekend, by the way. I had to fill in as a coach, too, for the travel team. Very tough travel league, by the way. But won our first game, and then won the second. And then we do double headers. Won the second game as well as both of our first wins of the season. Amazing, amazing stuff. Proud of my son. He did it. He's a basketball player. But what was I talking about? Oh, comics about sports. Dragon Hoops is good. I did Sullivan Sluggers. It's kind of baseball, fighting monsters and zombies. But just like straight sports stories and comics. I don't think there's a James Stern book. What was that? The Mighty Swing or something? I don't know. There's not a lot. I also disagree that indie comics have a raw energy or even a cohesive style amongst them. Plenty of crap indie comics. Yeah, I don't think it. I wouldn't say all indie comics are great and have a good raw energy to them. But there is that quality in self-published and indie and alternative comics that I really enjoy. Is it's like that pure id of the artist, just like having no shame and no encumbrances. They're just willing to put their art on the page as it comes out of the brain, kind of thing. Pink Poop. Okay, thank you. Oh, I have some terrible ones. Indie comics. Taylor is a jock, not an emo kid. Josh, let me just, if I could take you on tour to my CD shelf, show you all my CDs, you'll change your answer to that question. Or to that statement, I guess. Whoa, it looks dope. Stoko 2. Can I buy Witchman at an LSC? Only if your LSC has it. I don't know that. And it's kind of one of those things that they have to already have it. I don't know if they could even order more from Shioli, unless he brings it back to print. You'd have to ask. Go to the Beguiling, actually, Low Hit. I bet you, or call up the Beguiling. I wonder if they would have a copy. That's the kind of shop in Toronto, which is where you're from, that would have Witchman possibly. Every football game I've seen this year is because of an Eisner-nominated cartoonist friend. James Moore, thank you for joining me. That's interesting. Are you talking about American football or like football? Soccer. I don't watch football. I watch American football. I'll review it tonight. Batman Deadpool. There's a good basketball manga I heard. I don't know. Slam Dunk is the one I've heard. And I want to read Slam Dunk, but it's one of the, it's like, I think the mangaka, I forget the name, is anti-digital manga, so he'll never put his series digitally. And that's the only way I can read it, because I don't have the shelf space for Slam Dunk, and I don't have a library that has Slam Dunk. And also a bunch of the volumes are out of print, and I don't have the patience to buy volume 6 and then volume 17 and then volume 1 and piece it together without being able to read it. Elon, Slam Dunk, Real is I think the follow-up he did about wheelchair basketball. Slam Dunk, nice, glad we won. Golem's Mighty Swing, thank you, David. Thank you for joining me, by the way. Golem's Mighty Swing by James Sturm is the one I was thinking of. Both are by, oh geez, I lost my place here. Takahiko Inoue, Real is very good. Oh, cool, thanks for that. I'm digging Chainsaw Man. We talked about Chainsaw Man a week or so ago. Harvey Picar's Ghost and I both read the first 5 or 6 volumes and then fell off. An indie kid. Indie rock was something I also listened to a lot of in my emo days. Which I probably, now thinking back, I probably used the word indie rock or indie band incorrectly by the technical term. But who cares? That's a good idea. I'll call the Beguiling. Do it. I want to go to the Beguiling one day. That's like on my bucket list of comic shops I want to go to. Chainsaw Man is wacky and wild in the best way. Slam Dunk is only 234 volumes. I think it's like 25, but it's still a lot. Putting up my video of my Outland bind today or tomorrow, by the way. Someone, one of the moderators, if you could share Jordan's YouTube channel in the comments. Everyone go subscribe to Jordan. We need to continue to have him do videos on his custom binds. He does amazing work. His books always look amazing. I don't know if I was a publisher and I was privy to what he was doing, I would be hitting him up for some book design work. Damn, there are a bunch of YA sports comics I've read that are good. Avant-Garde is a fun queer basketball comic. Yeah, it does seem like the YA, not genre, but the YA demographic, that's a better way to say it, has a lot more sports-inspired stuff. My son's read a lot of that. YA comics are definitely my son's jam. Like, he does not like superheroes. I don't know. He just doesn't like them. He either reads manga or YA comics, and a lot of them, like the Raina Telgemeier books. He's a huge fan of Raina Telgemeier. In the Babysitters Club series, in the fall or the spinoff, The Little Sisters, or whatever. He loves that series as well. Definitely in that demographic. Kuroko's Basketball is a good basketball manga, and the anime is on Netflix. How many volumes is the manga, and is it in print? Vagabond is really good by Inoue. Yeah, so Vagabond, if you guys are familiar, it's probably his more famous work, possibly, especially to this audience or like the Western audience, because they're coming out with those deluxe hardcovers. Yeah, so Inoue did this like samurai story, but also basketball. Taking notes here. Thank you, gents. Yeah, we're great for recommendations. That's what the show is for. You guys recommend me the good stuff, and I try to recommend you guys some good stuff that maybe you don't know about. There's Jordan McLean's YouTube. Everyone go subscribe. You don't want to miss out on the great stuff he's doing over there. Music genres are much more malleable thing and harder to define. I wouldn't like to argue any of those arguments. I agree. Especially when you go to stores and how they designate genres. It's basically like R&B, rap, and hip hop, and then rock. And that just like encompasses everything else. Or they might have a country section too. So like country, R&B and soul, rap and hip hop, and then rock. They might have a jazz section perhaps, but rock encompasses everything from like Green Day to Coldplay to Matchbox 20 to Death Cab for Cutie. Like everything falls into that umbrella, and it's like like two of those bands I just named I actually like. The other ones are not for me. Thanks, guys. Yes, Jordan, keep putting out the good work, man. I'll keep pounding the table for you. Have you read Thorgal? You should. Thorgal. Is that by... That's not the one I'm thinking of. Thorgal, that's a European comic. Is it by... No, maybe I don't know who this is. Belgian comic, Franco-Belgian comic by Jan van Ham and Polish graphic artist Grzegorz Rosinski. I probably butchered that. That's not what I was thinking of then. I was thinking of the, what's the Storm? Don Lawrence is the artist I was thinking of. He did the comic series Storm, which I'm hoping it's a reprint soon, and Trigon Empire. I don't know why I got Thorgal and Trigon mixed up, but such is life. Using indie comic to describe Saga or The Walking Dead to me is like using Big 2 comic to describe Invincible because it's a superhero comic. That's a great analogy, Harvey. I never thought about it that way and how absurd that would be to say, oh yeah, Invincible, that Big 2 comic, just because it falls under the umbrella of superhero comic. It's a great analogy. Harvey, you and I, we've talked about the designation of indie comic before. Can't say I've always... Let me take that back. I haven't disagreed with you. It's just that you are maybe more annoyed by the usage of indie incorrectly than I am. But that is a great argument point in analogy. Keep using that one. That's really, 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 really solid, because I think it really paints the picture. Someone would be like, Invincible, Big 2, that doesn't make any sense. They're by image. And then they would get it. That's a really good analogy, Harvey. Use that one. Have you ordered Street Music 1 through 6 yet? I'll be interested to hear what you think. I have not. I think it was mycomicshop.com that I saw it from. And I can't say it's soon, anytime soon, but I have them in my cart. And wonder if I put an order in for the rest of the not the rest of them, but a lot of the Master Kung Fu's I'm missing is when I'm probably going to put the order in for that. What is that? Oh, so not yet, but I will. They're on my radar, in my cart. Sounds like me and Taylor's son would get along. Probably. You know what, though? I talk about that all the time. How I'm really curious what the next generation of cartoonists is going to come up with, because for the longest time, for the last 50 years, all the cartoonists that came about had grown up on superhero comics as like the main comic. Like if you read comics, you're probably reading superhero comics. And it wasn't until before that, like the underground comics guys, like R. Crumb and Spain Rodriguez and S. Clay Wilson, a lot of those guys didn't grow up on. They grew up on the EC comics or like Funny Animal comics, Carl Barkson thing, like Mad Magazine, Mad Comics, and then they drifted off into making these great underground comics that have nothing to do with superheroes. But then after the Comics Code came out and the Kefauver hearings and Frederick Wortham doing his nonsense, like comics then shrunk into like all the genre stuff, like almost like went by the wayside for the longest time, and superheroes reigned supreme. But now in this century, like ever since like Image Comics started doing more genre stuff and getting outside of just doing superheroes, and like Dark Horse the same thing, and all of these, like the fact that self-publishing is so much more much easier, I guess, to come by, much easier to do. We're getting more into genre storytelling in outside of just superheroes. And then when you have things like Dogman and Raina Tagemeyer books like dominating the charts of comic book sales and manga as well, that's what kids like my son are growing up on. Like my son, again, he has no interest in superheroes, but he still loves comics. He loves manga and he loves comics. He reads them. That's his primary reading is sequential storytelling. Sequential storytelling with art or comics. And so like his generation, they're going to be that's what they grew up on, and they're going to be inspired by that. And then they're going to grow up and make their own stuff. So if you're into like auto-bio stuff, or you're into slice of life stuff, or you're into genre storytelling, like I think we're only going to get like the best comics that ever exist out there in like 10 to 15 years. Like it's only going to level up the quality, which is really, really great. I was thinking if there's any classic Golden Age sports comics, and all I could think of was Joe Palooka. David McPherson, one of the Atlas Comics Library, I did this on my my video I just did with a few videos ago, talking about the upcoming catalog from Fantagraphics. One of the Atlas Library editions is all sports comics, which is really great. So that's Golden Age era comics, and it was called Sports Comics was the title of the issue. So it's going to be a whole hardcover full of Golden Age sports comics. I can't wait to read that. It's going to be really, really interesting. Elon, I haven't heard about it, but have you pulled the trigger? Kuroko's Basketball 15 2-in-1 edition volumes. You can read it on the Viz Media app. Okay. Viz Media app. You have my attention. Wu-Tang is all you need. Do you actually listen to Wu-Tang Clan, Josh? I'd be surprised if you did. I don't know. You don't catch me as a Wu-Tang kind of music listener. If you love Conan, Josh, you will love it. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've lost on your conversation. American football on TV. Okay, both pro and college were minutes away from Ohio State. Boo. My first minor league baseball game trip was organized by another Comics Associated friend. Boo, Ohio State. Penn State. Woo! Penn State alum right here. Even though Penn State is doing awful this season. All my sports teams are doing terrible. I'm a Penn State fan in football, college football. I'm a New York Giants fan in pro football. They're doing terrible. Both Penn State and the Giants fired their coaches. The Pacers are doing terrible. Wu-Tang is for the children. Cross Game is amazing sports manga too. That one's out of print, I think, if I remember correctly. Jean Van Ham, not the martial artist doing splits. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Rob Van Dam, perhaps. Walking Dead is the most indie book we have. Need to get this Trigun manga. Trigun. My Comic Shop Books Giving sale coming up. Ooh. Do they do a big Black Friday sale? What is their sale usually? Those are videos I want to do. I want to do videos of what the different sales are going on. I know Fantagraphics is doing their 40% off sale for Black Friday, which is amazing. It's the best deal you'll get all year on Fantagraphics books. Josh, my library has a First Trigun hardcover. I'm going to check it out soon. My library, my local library, just got all the Berserk deluxe hardcovers, Josh, by the way. And I can't check them out yet because I think they're very popular with the people that go into frequent the library are there. But I walked in one time, I didn't even know they had them, and this kid had like a whole stack of the first 5 volumes he was checking out. So maybe I'll finally read Berserk. Sir, are you? I'm assuming this has to do with Wu-Tang. Are you saying that as it's absurd for me to think that you would listen to Wu-Tang, or you do listen to Wu-Tang? Drop some bars, Josh. Yes, drop some bars about what the answer to that question. Thorgal, there we go. What about Josh? Does not scream killer bees? Do I listen to 36 Chambers? Do I protect my neck? Mystery of the Shadow Boxing Gravel Pit? I'm an East Coast rap fan. Okay. The only music I've ever heard you talk about is Ozzy Osbourne and I think Metallica, perhaps. Don't be offended if you don't listen to Metallica. I think I've heard you talk about Metallica. The best Wu-Tang album is Liquid Swords. Liquid Swords is some of the best albums ever. You take Berserk from that child, Taylor. He's not ready for those themes. He was like a teenager, I think, which maybe he's too young for that. By the way, I've not even got to the best part of my haul yet. So thank you guys for lighting up the chat. This is not the best part. It's the next book I'm going to show. But I did pick up the next Creepy volume. I'm going to do a video on this one because look at this. Look how thick that is. I don't even know if I have a... Do I have the other volumes up here? Oh, I do. All right. So Dark Horse has been releasing these paperbacks of Creepy and Eerie magazine. I've been talking about how great these are. They're like collect like 5 issues of the magazine in one volume, but they're thin. But now they're doubling them up. So look at this. Look how thick that is. They're doubling up the archives. So now they're going to be like 10 issues per volume. And the price has not even gone up that much because this is the first volume of Creepy that came out. You can see the price tag there, $24.99. Doubling it up, twice as many comics in this volume. And the price, only $34.99. So twice as much content for only $10 more. And this is when we're getting to the color stuff too, by the way. We get some wicked, awesome artwork in here. I think there might be some Richard Corbin in here. It does have a sticker on it, by the way. Right there, which I think I could peel off if I wanted to, but I don't mind it. It looks kind of cool. It says double the ghoulish content per volume. Collects hardcover volumes 11 and 12. Because they did releases in hardcovers previous to this. But now they're doing paperbacks. Yeah, Richard Corbin's in here. As well as Reed Crandall, Paul Neary, Tom Sutton, who's been like my favorite artist that I've discovered through these Creepy Eerie magazines. Can't wait to dive into this thing. But I'm going to do a video on it talking about how they're doubling up the volumes now. I think a volume 11 of Eerie comes out next month. And yeah, so I think there's going to be 19 volumes or so when it's all said and done. But I'm still only missing Creepy volumes 3 and 4, I think. But I have all the Eries. All right, are you guys ready for this? This is like, so you guys know when I did the video on 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I said that was my #1 whale. I don't even know what my next whale would be. Well, I haven't been as vocal. I might have mentioned this a few times, but I harpooned my whale, my #1 whale. So I don't even know what my next #1 whale is going to be. It might be, I don't know. I'll come up with that later, but I harpooned this whale for an incredible price. I still shocked for the price that I got it for. It was like, this book goes for crazy money. I liked, whenever I go on eBay, I always just like and follow book listings, because then, if you don't know this, good eBay tip. Because I sell a lot of books on eBay as well. When you sell books on eBay, if someone hearts your listing, you'll get alerted from eBay saying like, hey, do you want to offer that person a discount? You have 10 people liked your listing, but none of them bought it. Do you want to offer them a discount? And you do, you can say like 10% off. And that 10% off goes off to all 10 people liked it or following that listing. And then they can accept the offer. So a good eBay tip, if it's a book even out of your price range, just give it a heart. And they might even get a crazy offer from the seller who's just trying to get rid of the books. Cool eBay tip. But I got, wrong side. The Shazam Monster Society of Evil slipcase edition that came out in, I think, the late 80s. Is Dana still here? She's going to appreciate this one. But this is way out of print. It's from American Nostalgia Library. I think it was printed in Europe, though. 1989 is when this book came out. It's never been... I knew it. Jordan, did you really know that's what this is going to be? That's hilarious. It's in a beautiful slipcase, though. The slipcase is a little dinged up, which he alerted me of this. Like, this wasn't... None of the damage on this book was surprising to me. He let me know. But it is a little dinged up, which I don't mind that. But the slipcase is beautiful. And this is taller than an Absolute Edition. I think it's got like an inch or so on Absolute Edition in size. And it's beautifully designed. But this is collecting the Monster Society of Evil book or series of strips from Shazam, Captain Marvel from back in the day. It was serialized in 25 different issues was the story, which is so different than Golden Age and Silver Age even. They would not have stories continue on from issue to issue. Like you always hear Stan Lee talk about how like the Galactus trilogy was a big thing because they serialized the story across 3 issues and it was so risky and they can't believe they did that. Well, this was 20 years before that and they did it across 25 issues. The reason why they did more one and done stories back in the Golden Age and Silver Age was because most of the distribution was on the spinner racks. Comic shops didn't really exist. So it wasn't reliable enough. Like you couldn't guarantee that when you went to the shop went to the spinner rack or the newsstand that week that you can get the next issue of Captain Marvel or the next issue of whatever, Superman or whatever you're looking for. But Otto Bender and CC Beck took the risk and did 25 issues or stories serialized across the board. Previous to that, I don't know if I still have it up here. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. I'm going to do a video on this, though. And I'll show it off whenever I do the video. Yeah, I can't find it. Previous to this, though, I only had a edition that was by that Guandalon publisher. And it was like a reprint of like crappy scans of the old comics. And there's like, but they didn't even have the whole story in there because Guandalon only does public domain. And I don't even understand how they got away with some of the issues, but I don't know. But it wasn't the complete story. So now I have the complete story in this beautiful, beautiful edition. I can't wait to read this. The binding is it's come unglued a little bit. So I need to figure out how to fix that. I've never repaired a book before. I never really bothered, but this one I might have to because this is such a treasure in my collection now. I can't believe I have this. Amazing stuff. So yeah, obviously everybody knows I've been on a big Shazam Captain Marvel kick lately. I don't think I'm gonna peak after that. Like the only next piece of Shazam Captain Marvel merchandise I can get that's gonna satiate this appetite is gonna be if they finally put together a collection collecting all of the series without any sort of censoring or whatever. Bum-ba-dum. Drum roll. Yes. Hopefully the anticipation. Hopefully I didn't show that off and everyone's like, oh, that's lame. Why would you buy that? Moby Dick. Yes. Walking Dead. No. I co-sign this eBay tip. Always heart any book you're thinking about buying. Yes. Even if it's like a crazy price that you would never buy, give it a heart because you never know if that person's like, I got to get rid of this book. I got to make some money. And they just offer you like 50% off or something crazy. It doesn't hurt to heart it. You might get alerted when someone offers like a 10% discount and you're like, that's still too much. but you never want to miss out on a good deal that way. Excited for this video. Thank you, Josh. I can't wait to read it. And I'm going to do a comparison with the Guandalon because I think that's the only way you can buy this story right now is from Guandaland, whatever it's called. So I'm going to do a comparison of like what that book's missing and what this has and why this is the definitive edition to own and hunt down. That looks really good for a book. Yes, it's published by, again, I don't know, Hawk Books / American. I don't know much about the publisher at all. Was not done by DC Comics, who owned the rights to it. And I think it was done in Europe because I don't know how they got away with, I don't know the story behind the publishing of this book, but definitely really cool. And I do love that they went with like a black border around I think it's really like a kind of nice looking treatment to it. To have that black border around the artwork. I think it looks really good that way. And I don't know what the touch up was or anything like that. I haven't read the front intro. I don't know if it'll tell me in that what but it's one of a 3,000 edition too. They only released 3,000 of these. I don't know if that's what the deal is with DC. If they're like, okay, you can do this thing, but you only have 3,000 copies you can print. I don't know, but I got like mine's like number. I didn't even see. I think the eBay listing says like 884, but I didn't even see if it was like listed in here. Oh, it is. Look at that. I'm trying to be careful here because, like I said, the binding needs repaired. We see right there the one of 3,000. It's 884 or 844. 844 on that white box there. If it's coming in clear at all. So I got a triple digits. I don't know. Does anybody care about like when they get like certain numbered volumes of things? Do you care what number you get? I know people are like, oh, I got one of the first ones, like volume 8. But like, is that even like, is there any sort of parameter like that sells better than volume 844, for instance? Didn't Kayfabe not even have that? Yes, Kayfabe did not have it. Chris Pitzer had a copy, and he brought it to the Kayfabe compound to do a video on it. But yeah, they didn't have it. Which I don't know that they're big fan. I don't know Jim and Ed were big fans of Captain Marvel Shazam. I know Tom Scioli is, but I heard the Captain A have it in your voice when you brought it up recently. It's an impressive whale man. Oh, thank you. So you knew what I was going after. I was shocked that I got it for what I got it for. But my next whale, I don't know. I think it might be some Michael DeForge issues of Lose, actually. I'm missing a few of those issues. I think I talked about how I had no issues of Lose, but I recently ordered from a website 3 issues. So now I just need 4 more issues of Lose. And I know Michael DeForge says he'll never reprint those. I don't know if that's big enough to be my whale, though. I'll have to think about it. It's got to be something that's like only goes for crazy prices, and I think I'll never obtain, or goes for like way richer than I'm willing to pay for it. Repairing books is not that hard. That's what I always hear, but I've never done it. I know Omar and some other people have done videos on how to repair them. It does make me nervous, though, with how valuable this is. I don't want to muck it up. I'm probably just going to try to delicately read it and manage without it. Would you mind telling us how much that cost? I don't know. I always feel weird about that. I paid. Let me see before I say anything crazy. I paid like a third of what they go for on eBay sometimes. I'll say that. I think. Let me see how much I paid for it. Yeah. But I sold a bunch of books lately, so I treated myself a little bit to figure if I get rid of a bunch of books and then buy one, it's not so bad, right? The final price was, I think, $130. Can you hear that low voice? But the original listing, I think, was like $180, and then he like knocked it down a bunch, and I jumped on it right away. It's like, holy crap! But like now, if you just go on there, look on eBay right now, like the listings for this are like Monster. Dana, you're in England though. I wonder if it's more readily available to you guys since it was printed over there. I don't know if it was like all copies were sent over here, or if it was like people only acquired some copies from over here. I don't know how that worked, but I'd be curious to know if you've ever seen a copy. Like maybe you saw it and it was just crazy prices. Like there's one listed on eBay right now for $350. I would never pay that much for it. That was like, whenever I saw those prices, I was like, oh, I'll probably never own that thing. There's one in Australia right now for $195. I don't know what shipping would be like from down under. Dun, dun, dun. Buying the correct glue is a good start. I'm sure it is. Just need a little Pritt stick. It's close to newspaper size. Really cool find. I don't know what a Pritt stick is. There's a collection of Body Beneath that collects Lose 2 through 5 in their entirety, though, because I want the entire issue. But if that's the case, I think the ones I picked up were, I want to say 4, 6, and 7, possibly. I can't remember. They haven't come in yet, obviously, because I didn't show them off. If there was someone here who makes books, yeah, Jordan, can I send it to you, and can you like sew it for me in a nice, like, make it nice and perfect for me, and then send it back to me? No, not $10,000. Cyber Monday, they do like 40% off collected editions and comics discount of 10 to 20%. Ooh, that's nice. No, it reminds me of that scene though in Seinfeld where Jerry buys the jacket and George is like, how much did you pay for that jacket? Was it more than $500? Oh my gosh, you paid more than $500. $750. Was it $750? And Jerry's just like staring at him. It's like, oh my gosh, if you don't tell me right now, I'm going to walk out of here thinking that you paid more than $1,000 for this jacket. I feel like that's the moment that Josh and I just had. I like when people share that they paid for rare books. I bought a copy of Crickets 2 for almost $150 a couple years ago. That's the issue of Crickets that I think that content's never been reprinted, right? That's the one that goes for crazy prices. This is Crickets number 2. But yeah, I haven't got my issue of the new Crickets in yet. Just yet. Oh, Jordan. Do you have like a book repair service that you can offer? But Dana, have you ever seen a copy over in, I know you're not from England originally, but you live there now. Have you ever seen a copy of this? I wonder, and are you aware, like, do they send all 3,000 copies to America or half of them? Or I just feel like it'd be more readily available in the Europe area because of the nature of the publishing. That's all I have for you guys today, though. Put your last minute comments in the chat while I go through my plugs that I failed to do in the beginning of the show. But yeah, I'll go through my plugs. Put your last minute comments in the chat. I'll address those and then we'll get out of here. But if you want to shop for comics, shop over at panelboundcomics.com and you use my promo code TaylorTalksComics, all one word, TaylorTalksComics, and save $2 off of your order. And then that stacks on any sort of Black Friday deals they have. So keep that in mind. If you're ordering 4 or more books, use my other promo code for panelboundcomics.com. It is TTC, ship it together, all one word. TTC, ship it together. They'll save 5% off an order of 4 or more books. And again, that stacks on any sort of Black Friday deals they have. You save more on your comics. I get a little bit of kickback. We all win. And then smash the like button, subscribe, comment down below. Super chats are always welcome and super appreciated. What are the last minute comments before we get out of here? I'll check in the UK and Europe because now I need to get that. It's a beautiful book. Help Taylor and buy books. Yes, there we go. That's the message we're going to end on. But thank you guys so much. Have a great one. And keep talking comics. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to put the intro video. You guys said you want me to play it again. Let me get that ready for you guys. I'll play that while I get out here. If you guys want to stick around and watch that. Is anybody still here? Okay, you're still here. All right, hang on a second. I'm going to play my video. Not that one.
Thank you for pressing the self-destruction button.
Oh, hey! Oh, hey! It's, it's like a koala bear crapped a rainbow in my brain!
Listen, here's $5. I've got to get to 1008 Park Avenue right away. It's an emergency. Look, I'm really in a hurry. Isn't there something you can do? $10 more. Look, I've got to be there before 5. Well, what's going on up there? We're getting someplace. Now, look, will you just get around him? Just get in his lane. Do it! I've got to be there by 5. Hey, mister, you're going to be 10 minutes late, so just keep your shirt on.
I think, a lot of us have family members that are going through a crisis or dealing with problems like this. So it's our therapy in a way. It's a cathartic kind of release for me.
Rack lays it up, no, but we do have the whistle and a foul. Ben just went after our 10. Trouble right here in the Motor City. We got big trouble here in the Motor City. Steven Jackson still screaming at the Pistons. He came back now, but short on the headsets. The Indiana broadcast. It's been a while since he threw something that. There goes Ben Wallace again. There goes Artest up into the crowd. He's absolutely out of his mind. And Steven Jackson slugging people in the crowd here. The whole Indiana team is in the crowd. And now the Pistons are coming over.
And you want to be my latex salesman.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see somebody go past the window? What? Somebody just went past that window downwards. Oh. Must be a board meeting. Oh, yeah.
He's faking it, Julie. He's faking it.
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
Mountain's on fire! Mountain's on fire!
Sir, I would like to complain about that last scene about people falling out of high buildings. I myself have worked all my life in such a building and have never once...
Jack, you know what? Hey, I really like that hate t-shirt. The whole angry young man, black thing, generation. You know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah, it's the name of a comic book. Can I borrow your pen 1 second?
Absolutely.
Happy now.
My artwork is popular because it connects with the ordinary person, and they can understand it very easily. And I've always meant it to be so. I've never confined my art to a particular section of humanity. I love people in general. My art reflects it, and that's the way it's always been.